Hi there, it's Rob. I don't know if this is my best side, but this is the best part of the business. Here I've got 200 scarves, and I want to show you how easy it is to set up the laser. I'm using a CC30, which officially for 2017 is only available as the CC40, and that's a ceramic laser. This is one of the demos that's left. And there is no difference in the etching speed if you get a 30 or 40 or a 60 watt, for example, because the material can only handle so much heat and then it's too much. So going twice as much, twice as fast doesn't necessarily help. A simple way to set up is just to take a scrap piece of some material and get an idea. If you're not familiar with that, what you do with the laser, if you only got exact number pieces and you're not experienced, you basically use a lower setting. So I could start at 10%, just turn this on here. I could start at 10% for the laser and I could work my way up. Guys, just let the camera roll and you do your thing. You don't have to watch it. Thanks. Just letting the guys do some other stuff because we're cool. So if there's other noise in the background, it's them building lasers. So another cool thing about the laser, the Permaboss lasers, you don't have to be exactly like at the surface. If I've got a ½ inch difference in height, I'm gonna be okay. What that means is I don't have to take this and then fold it like this and then get it to the flattest level right here and set it up. I'm not sure if you can see it there. We're not showing the software, we never do on the videos because it's easy to use and we don't want to educate anybody else but you, the user. But here, you've got a square box on there. And I'm not sure if I can show this on video, but every single scarf we get, this isn't a nice 90 degree because of, you know, wherever it's made in the country, and they're not gonna make them all 90 degree unless you get like an $80 one. So you've got to center it as best you can and you'll be fine. So let's start the production, and what I won't do is speed up the video. It'll be exactly what it is in real life. So let me just grab this the way it was folded and we can start the production. So set it up in here, and I'm looking to just make it centered, press my hand down so it's flat, press my button, and then confirm. And if you do the numbers right now, it's started already. If you heard the fan in the background, it's going to be roughly 20 seconds for this etch, and then it'll be done. Then I can just grab the next one and I will make a pile and go from there. It's a lot easier in production to have one person to prep the garments, and then you can sort it out later. But you don't have any hooping, you don't have any of the cleaning of the threads like you do with embroidery afterwards. It's just hit and go basically. And you've got extra times if you got to manipulate this afterwards, so you just pull it off. You could literally fold that up and get it ready, get the next one aligned and go from there. So I'll do this for a little bit and then we'll edit the video to be at the end, but I want to do enough of it that you actually see what I'm doing is real. Now, this method of what I'm doing is probably the single most expensive method of etching. You know why? Because the CEO is doing it, and the CEO shouldn't be doing this kind of work. I always kid around that you don't need a NASA rocket scientist retired to run the laser. It's just you touch the embroidery looking icon to pick the machine. You're saying it's, you know, a laser surface, or an embroidery machine number 1 or head or whatever. And the second thing I do is I got a picture of Mona Lisa, and you actually pick the Mona Lisa, and then, one second. I'm a guy, I can't do two things at once. So if I'm chewing gum, this wouldn't work. So you pick the Mona Lisa and then all of the artwork files are exposed, so you get to pick which one. And what we do as a rule is whenever we make a logo or an icon, we make it from coat hanger size, left chest, all the way up to full back, because it only takes a few seconds to do that. And when it takes a few seconds to do that, you've got it set up so you can give your customer a gift or a special item, a jacket. You don't have to go remake it, re-look it up. This takes a little bit longer because this was folded here, right? So if the person preparing the object can organize that a bit better, it can be a bit faster. Put my hand down and start. So I've got that time to set that up. Now I'll be ahead on the next one. And when that red light comes back on, then it's completely done. It's safe to put your hands underneath. I'm operating this a little bit higher than I need to because I want the space and the clearance, and I've got to do the video at the same time. But because you're putting your hands here, once you've controlled it, then you're in business. What's the difference between you know, the CC model and the NGL model. Obviously we're working off a tablet-based Windows product here versus, you know, a 22-inch touchscreen, and there are slightly less features here on the software than on the big NGL software. So this is real production. Oh wow, you gotta look at this one here. So check this out. This scarf here, do you see that? That's like not even close to straight. So, and then neither is the other side, wow. So what I'll do here is I'll try and pick the better side. Look at the difference here, right? Do you see that in the video? There's like an inch difference in that, it's that crooked. So you're just gonna use your best. I mean, if you be doing embroidery, this would be a complete nightmare because you'd also have to deal with the whole scenario of getting that straight. Now I lost my train of thought. I was telling you the difference between the lasers, the work area is bigger. This is basically 320 millimeters or basically 12.5 inches versus the NGL is like 14. Here we go, done. Just making a video, what's up? Tell Tony I'll meet him tonight for dinner. I'll call him when I'm done, tell him I'm doing a big important video. I don't know if you heard that, I was getting paid, so I'm gonna literally get people who are gonna call the company and go, how was the dinner with Tony? And I'm gonna go, what are you talking about? So remind me that I was in the scarf video. So a quick story, a little bit of a marketing tip. I tell my customers, when you have embroidery customers, you have screen printing customers, you're gonna buy these scarves and you're gonna stock them. So after Halloween, every single order that goes out is gonna get a scarf, and it's gonna get a thank you letter, and it's to say, dear Sarah, dear Mary, dear Tom, thanks for your business. We're really busy because of you. Just remember, we've got you covered for all your promotional needs, and you're gonna send them a scarf with their logo on it. And the reason you're gonna do that is because you wanna convert them from embroidery or screen printing or whatever else you're doing over to this decoration, and trying to describe this on the phone is hard, and then trying to upsell them on the phone, in my opinion, pisses them off because they already just gave you, you know, whatever, 2, 3 grand, 500 bucks a business, and now you're getting pushy on the phone, and you don't need to do that. But if, you know, they might say, you know, George or whatever your name is, I already made the order, I'm good, right? And over the phone, it's easy to say no. And it's easy not to understand this decoration without them seeing it. But when you send them their job and you send a scarf to the person who made the purchase order with their logo, and you send that funny leather, because, you know, I always say that you're not, wow, this is getting faster. So either I'm talking too much or the laser's getting faster. So you're saying thank you, and you're not being pushy, you're just giving them a gift. It's their ego. The minute they wear it, somebody else in the office says, man, you should order that for the trade show. We use that for a promotion, or we can launch this product. So it's really simple to be able to do things like that, and that's the goal. So I'm not gonna try and make this a long video, but I keep thinking of things to tell you. So if it cuts, it's because we're gonna try and make it short, and I'll keep talking and keep doing the video if I can think of other things. So since we're not doing heart surgery and we're not saving lives, we're only decorating garments, it's a lot easier to be humorous about the things you do. And I always say you can use the laser and make a phenomenal, beautiful, high-end drink coaster on a granite or a polished marble or wood or cork, and that's easy and simple to send also. So here's a mistake you could do. Notice that we're picking this spot here, and if I'm talking a mile a minute, I could accidentally do the middle of the scarf. So you gotta be conscious enough to always pick that end there. And here we go. So it's really just as simple as this. If, you know, I used to be a big brother, that organization, Boys and Girls Club, or Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and you're not supposed to have the kids work for you, right? But Ryan was like a super technical guy. He was still in touch after all these years, and he just loved to do anything. And it is simple enough for a kid, you know, to do. So there are some videos way back when Ryan was a little squirt, not a grown man, and he was using our machines to do embossing. So if you can see and you've got one finger, then you can use this. It doesn't take a specially trained person. It doesn't take long to learn. It's easy to use. This logo is kind of cool. This is my buddy's foundation where he's helping people recovering or from addiction and then getting them back in the workforce through this organization so they can build up their resume again. And it's the green boxes where you can donate clothing and used goods that you want to give away. I think it's kind of like Salvation Army concept. And then the guys go in the truck, pick it up, sort it, recycle it, or deal with it, whatever they can do. And that's this organization. And that's part of the things I like to do is when I can help an organization out do something cool, then we do that in the community. And the reason is, maybe it's a bit selfish, but the reality is that you're giving back, and the reality is that there's tons of business people in that network, and like I'm not doing anything really difficult here. It's really quick and easy and simple. It doesn't cost me a lot of time. There's 200 pieces here, and if you do the math, it's 20 seconds a piece. Let's say it's 25 with the switching. If I don't talk and I just focus on this, I can get more efficient, and I can cut it down to 22 seconds. Multiply that by 200, then divide it out. You're around an hour and a half. And if you did that, you'd charge $350, $375. This would be a bit bigger, a logo. And in that hour, that's how I come up to these numbers where I say you're making $300, $400 an hour. That's the reality. But I am making, the only thing I'm making today is a video for you. Okay, so you get the concept, and I'm just gonna let the film roll a little bit longer while I focus on this. Let's see if I can speed up my time. What I might do is edit it and fast forward it till I get to the end. We'll see how far I get. I don't have an hour to spend on this right now. Flip it in. So what I'll do here is get the next one ready, and as soon as this is done, I'll pull it out and straighten it up later. Just make sure you're doing it as flat as you can by putting your hand on it. Now, what would happen if you put your hand inside there? It's a CO2 laser, so you would get something that makes your skin look white and it looks like a cat scratch, and you'd pull it out right away unless you're a glutton for pain. But it's just like a minor burn, and since you're moving it and it's gone before it happens, it's really not that powerful, all right? Just to give you an idea, paper wouldn't even react. Hey, can you grab me a piece of white paper? Grab me, I just hand it in. Oh, see, I almost did that now, where I did it in the middle of the scarf. You gotta watch that. So there's no drinking and lasering at the same time, right? Make sure that one doesn't get turned inside out. You're doing it on the right side of the fabric. They're very like unsymmetrical, and whatever the word would be. They're not symmetrical at all. So here I've got a white piece of paper, and just to give you an idea, I'll run this job right here on the white paper, and it won't even change the paper. You have to be generally like on the NGL 40 or higher. You got to be 50% power or higher. So 50% of the 40 watts, you might start to mark the paper, or you can slow down the speed. So there's actually a slight heat mark in the paper, like it's a bit warped, but there's no brown mark on it. It's not burned, so it's really not that strong, because this stuff really reacts quickly. Just be careful, flip that over. I got one in there already. Flip that. This is almost enough time to get organized to get these ready to bag, but I found that in production it's easier if one person just lasers like crazy. Hey Bankum, is that on wheels? Can you want to wheel that into the camera view for 1 sec? Just put it behind me. I'll show you a cool laser for one of our customers. It's one of the brands. And you want to grab that camera for 1 sec? How do you like that color? Right? It's fuchsia. And I don't know how it's going to be in the marketplace, but the people that bought it had a choice and they loved it. So we're going to do some things. To me, if the machine is amazing, it should also look amazing. And I don't think there's any machine that's this color out there, and we just did it, and that's for one of our brands that we rebrand the laser for. So, and this here has the embroidery set up. So you've got a very large etching area. Obviously the hood isn't in here yet, and the guts are in there. They're just over at the station getting aligned. But we make this machine fit to your embroidery machine. So if you have any brand, whether it's Brother or Barudin or a Maya or Melco or Tajima or whatever it is, we'll make it fit because we have all the hoops in the back of the picture. Thanks. You want to pull this out of the way? That's heavy, huh? This stuff is like, what thickness is this, 1/4 inch?
Yes.
This 1/4 inch steel. I don't have to make it that thick, but I want stuff to live longer than me. So if I'm not doing videos one day, these machines will still be working and making money for you guys. So the best satisfaction, I might have said this in a video before, am I in the thing? The best satisfaction is when I sell it to like a German person or a Swiss person, and they get it out of the crate and they touch it for the first time, and they see the quality of the welds, and they feel the weight of the machine, and they see the thickness of the metal. It's just made to be amazing. It is made in Canada. It's 80% US components because they're pretty much like the top suppliers. In some cases we use the German scan head, but those are the two countries you use stuff from. And that way we have a laser with virtually like no service calls. And by the way, thank you Paul Gore of Port City Graphics. This morning he has this laser. He has a 40-watt version of it, and he does all kinds of signs. So if you dig through Facebook, we'll post that. I'm going to get permission to get his email on there, and he takes, you know, wood from a 200-year-old house and then is laser etching it and making the coolest signs. So he's basically taking an object, so I hope none of his customers are watching, but he's taking an object that's, you know, rendered scrap or garbage, maybe because he processed it and cut it. Let's say it's worth $2, but he's making a $35 retail sign, and I'll stick a picture in the video right now so you can see what he did. It's so creative and so stunning. And then he also did wooden crates. So I sent him an email. I said, thanks for thinking on the box, right? Instead of out of the box. He gets those wooden crates and he does customization of them with this laser, because you can put the crate around here. And it's about being different, right? It's about not being like everybody else. Your competitors don't have this technology, and they have to make the investment to somehow get it. They have to try, and if they don't have it, they can't compete with you, right? And the reality is, it's just that I don't know if I can reach every single one of you, convince every single one of you to get it, but at some point we're going to hit critical mass where you won't be viable like your competitors. So it's kind of, to me, embroidery is like being, you know, a yellow taxi cab, and we're living in the Uber world. And so far, I haven't had a bad Uber experience. This is kind of neat. The scarf is not aligned underneath, but the part that I have to etch is, and it's flat where I need to be, so I can just hit it and go. I don't have to worry about all the material. I don't have to worry about unfolding it. It's just quick. So, sorry to ramble. I was saying that if you're an embroiderer, I don't care if you're getting the machine delivered tomorrow, it's still industrial age technology. It's still stitching. It just might be quieter, it might be faster, the screen might be nicer, but it's industrial age technology. And if you're an embroiderer, I hate to say it, so don't stop the video when I say it, but you're in a yellow taxi cab. You're in a checker cab, and we live in an Uber world, and this is your Uber. This is what's going to take you another level. How else can you do a decoration and talk a mile a minute with any other machine that you have that's this easy? What about the alignment? You know, it's so simple, and I guarantee you if you go through the pile here, I might be off a fraction of an inch, but on this job, every scarf is a different width. It's not the same. They're not centered perfectly, so you can't berate me for it. When you have a situation like this, you immediately, you know, let's say I'm a contractor, you get a picture like I showed you a minute ago where you show the crookedness of it and you explain it to the customer. Say, listen, your scarves unfortunately are not symmetrical. We're going to do our best to center it, and you'll hardly notice a difference. I just want it in writing. Are you okay to proceed? Let me know. We're on hold until we hear back from you. So put the weight back on their shoulder and get a response from them, or use your common sense, or make it clear, right? I don't know what these scarves cost. Doesn't make a difference. The point is that we want to do a quick decoration on it and turn it over. And I don't know anybody, and I mean, I've been in thousands of embroidery shops. I don't know embroiderers who on embroidery make more than $35 an hour. They make more when they have more heads, but they're just not making more than $35 an hour. And why? If you imagine that the embroidery as a component is whatever, $350 on average, and it's taking 12 or 18 minutes, this would be a high stitch count. I'll see if I can get it embedded in the video. I'll get a stitch count for this, and then you figure it out when I tell you what the stitch count is. I'll post it in the screen because I can't do the calculation right now. But that's going to be 12, 15, 18 minutes to do that based on your density of your stitch. Then you would have a nightmare, I mean, you have the premise of, that's the back of the laser, right? There's nothing to clean. There's nothing going on. That's nice against the skin. That's not itchy, scratchy. There's no embroidery backing, no clipping, trimming, nothing. So, don't forget, if you're looking at this, I'm wearing boots because it's winter outside, and I'm 6'3", so for me, you want to be generally at elbow height, but we don't make the machines for basketball players, we make it for everybody, so you'd probably be around here somewhere. Okie doke. So I even had a client, I don't recommend it, but he used to put the iPad up here and work, you know, he had a full-time job, and then he had this on the side at night. So he used to put the iPad up here, and that was before Netflix, and he'd watch movies. He had a little PC actually in those days, and he'd have movies running while he's doing this because you're just focused on the simple part. Not that I endorse your employees do it, but he was the business owner, so he can do whatever he likes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 piles. Were the piles equal, Banco? Were these piles equal?
25, yeah.
25. So when I finish this pile behind me, I'll have done 50 in the time of this video. That'll be kind of interesting. Then we can do the math there, right? I don't know what the timing of the video is. Do you show the time on there? 22 minutes? 23, so 25 minutes and 50 pieces. So basically I'm doing one piece every 30 seconds while I'm blabbing away to you, just about, and then at $3.50 a piece. So I challenge you to tell me what else is in your business that's making this kind of revenue with the CEO doing it. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. So I put this at 30% and at 1300 speed. 1000 speed, 1200 speed, 1300 speed, that's millimeters per second. It's really not something you can calculate, it's a fraction of a second difference. But basically, think of it as exposure time, right? So that laser beam is going on the material, and I can make it go extremely fast or medium fast, and that's the exposure time. And then the power is like how much? Am I putting a lot, medium, or just a little bit on there? And there's no smell from this because at the back there, vented out, it's pushed outside the building, and there's an updraft here. Hey, my microphone was touching my neck. I hope it didn't become an irritating video for you guys watching it, because I'm not going to do the video again. I'm a one-take video kind of guy. And then if you're watching the video and you don't think you can afford the laser, just talk to us, because we got different methods of options going out there, some really interesting for 2017. So make sure you call us. And then also, if it's really not feasible for you, at least check in by emailing us on the contact form, and when it says what you're interested in is there's laser, embossing, or both, but in the comments, right, actually we're looking for somebody in our area who can do it or something, and talk to me. Take a minute. If you're interested, let me get you educated on, you know, how to make this profitable for you. Excuse me. See, almost did it again. I gotta watch, I don't do, that would be in the middle of the scarf. What's the time there? Quickly, the time? This last one in a 50. So exactly 25-minute video, and in a couple more seconds I did 50 scarves. And if I'm charging $350 and I did 50, you do the math and see that when you use the laser, like a couple hours a week, you have the whole month paid for. If you use it a couple hours a day, you're in a super profitable range. So I'm gonna leave that for somebody else to do. I did 50 scarves. I'll just back off. Thanks for your time, and you'll see this here.